All right, can everybody hear me okay in the room on Zoom?
Yeah.
We all right? Okay. Well, thank you for that incredibly warm introduction. And before, I feel so privileged, one, not only to see so many of you for the very first time in person after 2 years of conducting incredible work in the legislature, supporting congressional bills, all the wonderful budget advocacy we've done over Zoom these past few years. It's so great to reconnect and see you all in person. For those of you who are here in the room, and for those of you who are on Zoom, thank you so much, because we have had an incredible year, a perfect way to celebrate 20 years of this incredible organization, dare I say, an institution in California now. So before I introduce our distinguished panelists, and we are very lucky to have Brian Blum and Irene Cow, as well as Jane Kim will be joining us on Zoom. Carla Zombro will be joining us on Zoom, and Mr. Rich Fiesta, who I just saw a second ago. Oh, there he is. No, you're all good. We are so excited to be joined by this distinguished panel to talk about the tremendous work that they are doing individually and we collectively to ensure that we are taking all the steps necessary to protect and preserve our democracy yet again, because we certainly did so in 2022. And I'll take just a quick moment to recap that effort. So Cindy, if you wouldn't mind sharing my screen so folks on Zoom can see the graphic that we produced. But we've heard all morning from both on Zoom and in person about sort of the recommitment to CARA's foundational principles, right? To ensure that every California family has the resources to age with dignity and independence if they so choose, right? But in order to do that, we need policymakers, we need elected officials who are committed to these ideals, who will deliver on the promises and who will meet the urgency of the impending crises that we are all facing right now, right? So in 2022, thanks to our executive board and many of you in the room and on Zoom, we initiated this incredible voter education campaign. And again, voter education campaign, because at CARA we do not endorse candidates for elected office. But thanks to many of you who were called senior vote ambassadors, we recruited, I think, close to 250 volunteers who wrote postcards, who made phone calls, who helped organize our candidate forums statewide, because you know we have several CARA action teams. We wanted to utilize all of these tools to engage NPP or no party preference senior voters in 5 critical congressional races in 2022. And the results were overwhelming. As you can see, thanks to, again, the hard work of those of you in the room and on Zoom, and those of you who aren't able to join us today, we made over 20,000 phone calls to senior voters across the state of California. And please feel free to applaud yourself. I'm just recapping all the work that you all did. We made over 20,000 phone calls. We wrote over 25,000 postcards, again, to senior voters across California. And on top of that, we leafleted, we participated in just about every public forum available to us leading up to the midterm elections, and really engaged the public at every opportunity we could to present the facts on the candidates running for this office. We just reaffirmed our position to protect and expand Social Security and Medicare. That was an issue that we presented to the voters across those 5 congressional districts, and you can see them listed up there, all the way from Placer County, which, by the way, was not an initial senior vote target, but thanks to the leadership of the one, I'm looking at you right here, Diana Medoshi, right in the middle over here, and the Placer Cat. They took it upon themselves to build out a senior vote campaign, and they did a phenomenal job, and we really appreciate all the work that they've done. And so now, before I get to our speakers, the last thing I want to talk about is the candidate forums, right? So every candidate who participated in our candidate forums in 2022, they answered our questionnaire where we talked about ACO REACH, where we talked about Social Security, where we talked about climate change, we talked about transforming our healthcare systems, right, and so on and so forth. And then we took that information and put it into a flyer, right, along with CARA's position on the ballot initiative, and we sent those out. That was a part of our leafleting, that was a part of our postcard campaign, and it made a difference. So again, we know, unfortunately, that seniors, again, one of the most consistent voting bases in the history of this great democracy, we need to activate this group again and do even more. So the goals, well, I shouldn't say the goals, what we achieved in 2022, we need to expand on next year, right? Because it's gonna come down to us. Those of us in the room, those of us on Zoom, CARA, our partners, our incredible leadership, it's gonna come down to us and California to restore normalcy.